Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you the best strategy out there to use to make literally hundreds if not thousands of dollars each day, especially if you're funded, So in a sense I miss my buy EURUSD, but with patience and discipline I got a sell. So I'm going to show you that right now. So the first thing I like to do when I go in the charts is to mark my previous session highs and lows. So not to complicate things, I'm just gonna mark the highs, mark the lows. My apologies. Mark the highs, mark the lows. Right? Because these are liquidity. These are areas where price tend to react. We want to find areas where price will do reversal or retest and continuation. We don't want to jump in the middle of any trades. We want somewhere we can anchor our entry and our stop loss, right? So what we're going to do is, we notice price has been accumulating sweeping lows, reversal, sweeping highs, retests, etc, etc. So right, so now that you understand, voila, magic, all the areas are now marked. Simple stuff. If you don't understand, you can just watch my previous videos, but it's the same stuff, right? So just like this right here, where price went ahead, swept liquidity, reversed and bumped down to the downside, it's the same thing we're looking for in a sense, right? So I missed this. I think this was the London session. Yes, this was London session. Literally was asleep. Literally one of those higher time frame, 4-hour time frame. In my opinion, the 4-hour time frame is like Google Maps. Literally, Google Maps tells you where the market is going or is likely to go. So we're done with the 4-hour time frame. Let's go back to the 15-minute time frame. That's where we basically do all of our entries and pre-entry analyzation. So in a sense, there's no way I'm going to enter anywhere here. I could have marked these internal highs, but in my opinion, based on this pump I'm getting right here, I definitely was thinking that, hey, price could definitely go higher, right? If candle had closed and started to give me structure like it's going down, then I would have perhaps adapted. But to not make this video too long, what I had to do was just to be patient. Bam, 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 bam. Alright, so boom, we're at this area of interest. At least this is looking somewhat better. Okay, so we're at this area right here. Price immediately starts to reject. If I press refresh, it's gonna get too big. So price immediately starts to reject. The FOMO in me, I literally wanted to enter. Literally wanted to do was be patient. I literally sit on my hands. Basically, I literally was saying to myself, hey, this is literally my setup, right? But it didn't sweep liquidity, and that was a key confidence for me. So I was patient. I was like, damn, I might not get the trade today. I missed this one. I was somewhat fuming. I literally have a system, so I have to stay through with my system. I have a guide, if you'd say so. Step 1, sweep liquidity. Step 2, wait for market structure shift. Step 3, either get a retest on the market structure shift or get a retest on a fair value gap, whichever is there at the time. So basically I was patient. I was like, damn. So boom. So at this point I was saying I could enter. In a sense, I was patient. I was like, this could be an entry, but I don't want to break no rules, because I was already like, you know, why lose something, breaking your rule, and then blaming yourself, right? I wanted to rely solely on my strategy. So in a sense, I was patient, very patient. I allowed price to reveal itself. I was waiting. Boom! Finally got the market. Finally swept liquidity. It was like, damn, right? But still patient. Wasn't gonna enter immediately because price can use this level as support to to go higher, right? And I didn't want to be caught up in that as well. So still patient, you know, still patient. Because I was really hoping for a sell, so since I wasn't gonna use this level no more, I was like, okay, what I like to do to mark my market structure shift, MSS, market structure shift, what I like to do to mark it is to mark the wick of the candle, or the start of the candle that swept liquidity. When we say swept liquidity, we're talking about the candle that ran through this line. This here, the high and the low, that's liquidity. You don't even have to understand the word itself, just know that this is liquidity, this is an area of interest, this is an area where price will react to. The reason why this is called buy side liquidity, because the person that are doing the buy-in, that's where they're going to take their TP. Liquidity means money, right? So the buyers are aiming for here, the sellers are aiming for here. So the buyer's money is right here. So the buyers basically are coming out of the market, they're hee ha ha and you're nice, you know, pockets full, right? But that doesn't mean the market is done, right? So in a sense, I'm going to mark this candle right here that did that sweep of liquidity, right? That candle that basically finished the buyer's move, right? So in a sense, I was waiting to see if price can close below here. So boom, at that very moment, price closed below this area, right? Immediately, if you wanted, you could take this trade, right? In a sense, on the 15-minute time frame, price closed below this area. Some people may say, hey, this is our demand zone, support zone, whatever you want to call it, I don't really care. But this is my strategy, right? So in a sense, price closed below here. I'm going to mark that as market structure shift, because price shift from going up from being a buy to a sell. Straightforward, very, very simple, right? So in a sense, step 1, check. Step 2, check. Now step 3, I would love to see either price to do something like this. So we already have this step 1, step 2. So step 3 would want something like, either a retest on the market structure shift, or if it's a fair value gap, or sometimes even a retest right here going down, right? Don't know why that keep on happening, going down, right? So basically this is where you're gonna stay attentive, right? This is where the market is gonna basically reveal itself, and then after that it's gonna distribute. All of this right here, I also said in my previous video, all of this right here is accumulation. Everything in this box is accumulating. Price accumulated to the downside, price accumulated to the, well, price distributed to the upside, but for this scenario we're gonna say price accumulated to the upside. So after we get okay, let's just make it bigger. So AMD, accumulation, check. Manipulation, check. Distribution is next, but we want to know where price is going to distribute to. So all these two things basically confirm that price is not 90% likely to go down. We never 100% yet. It's trading. If I were to know exactly what it's going to do, I'll be a billionaire, you know, Tony Stark type shit. So basically, I'm looking for a retest either here, or I could have already entered right here. But let's just see what happens. Oh, let me go back to the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so basically, let's see what happens. Play. So The reason why we haven't entered here is if price goes above here and close above here and refuse to go back down, it's a buy. So as long as it stays below here, this line, and closes back down here, it's definitely a sell. Alright, let's see what it's gonna do. Okay. Personally, this is where I was second guessing and saying, you can do either a buy or a sell. Alright, here now is where I said, yep, I'm taking my sell, because if I were to remove these to avoid confusing you, as I said, our high mark MSS, market structure shift, is when the price closed below the candle that did the manipulation, that did the sweep, that did the fake out. Check. 1, 2, check. Now we get the check on phase 3, right? As I said, either a retest on the market structure shift or a retest to a fair value gap, right? In a sense, if you go on a different time frame, you might find a fair value gap. I'm not going to hunt for that. You can do it if you like. So basically, I would literally enter my trade. I did take this trade. I'm gonna put a screenshot of the trade to see exactly where I did enter. But basically, my stop loss has to either be here or here. Here it is what I recommend, right? Because if you look at the 4-hour time frame, you will see that this right here is where price accumulated, price manipulated, and now it's doing the distribution phase, right? So in a sense, we have done our work, and now it's time for the market to do her part, you know. So let's see what happened. And this is why you leave. Sometimes you just leave and let the market play out. Risk management will tell you to, hey, once you're in 1-to-1, you can either close out half of it, put your stop loss to break even. But I like to, you know, take the risk. You know, if you know me, that's my name, risk taker, literally. Like play out, boom. This is where you can either start to take. In my opinion, I would say to my friends and person that trade, you don't necessarily need to create full TP to get out of the market. Once you're at 80% in your TP, you can literally get out. Because once you get a 1-to-3, 1-to-4, you don't have to really squeeze for the 1-to-5. But my opinion, price tends to get exhausted at these areas. Let's see what happens. Look at that, 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 look at that. You really want to be in the market. Eventually it's going to come sweet liquidity. Voila. Perfecto. Perfecto. That trade took actually 2 days. I'm going to call it a swing. Alright. So boom. That's how I got that sell. Alright. Boom. Literally. That's a beautiful setup right there. Beautiful setup. Tell me that ain't beautiful. So basically, that's how it went.